We're here to talk about an incident that happened last night at about 5:15 p.m. We got a call came in through 911 and went out to all agencies of a sport fisher boat that came ashore, actually grounded itself inside the Fort Pierce Inlet at the South Causeway Beach boat ramp. And so when the call initially came out, it was very fortunate for us that we had several of our deputies that were working in off-duty detail right across the street at Causeway Cove Marina for an event they've been having all week, their Miracle on the Water. And so our deputies immediately responded across the street. The call came in that there was a boat. The call taker actually stated there was a boat that had beached itself against the docks there, and said there were about 50 people running from the boat, and that there were possibly illegal immigrants that were running from the boat. I don't know what any other information with regard to that. I can tell you that when the first deputy that we had at that detail that responded and got on scene, he did observe some people scurrying away and was able to basically detain 4 individuals immediately, all of whom were soaking wet because the boat wasn't all the way up on dry land. They had to get to dry land from that. At that point, our deputy did a great job of summoning more resources, summoned our air unit, our marine unit. Actually, the supervisor immediately called Border Patrol and Customs, got their air unit and marine units out, and so there were multiple agencies that started to respond to the area at that point. We actually had an intensified enforcement team that was out working a totally different project over in the north end of the community last night, and they responded as well. So we had lots of resources on the ground. Subsequently, like I said, the first deputy initially detained 4 people. Another deputy that was responding to the scene over at Indian River Drive and Seaway detained another, I believe it was 11 initially at that location. And then from there, more people started, as units came into the area, they started rounding up, more of the people. In all, we detained 25 individuals. There were 12 females, 8 males, and 3 juveniles. They all appeared to be of Haitian descent and spoke Creole. One of them made just a statement, that she was from Haiti and that she was coming to America for a better life. So I know you guys know all those facts, but here's what I really want to highlight is the amazing job from our deputies and the other agencies that were involved in just kind of how this played out. One of our supervisors because of her previous experience in our Special Investigations Unit, had a relationship, knew several of the Border Patrol, and was able to call them immediately and to get resources immediately. So instead of waiting, they were able to respond some resources immediately. On scene, and let me just I'm going to make this statement. I know that our borders are a hot topic. Our governor has promised that Florida will protect its borders, and St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, we stand ready to do that, and I think that's evident from what we did last night. And while this may be a controversial topic for a lot of people, I think that what I'm about to highlight to you, indicates that we can protect our borders and we can do it humanely, and we can treat people and individuals with dignity while we're protecting our borders. And that's what's important for people to know as well. Because what happened last night is once these 25 individuals were kind of brought together, our deputies immediately gave them food, or not food, but water and blankets, and started tending to them for any kind of first aid needs. We brought our our transport bus out because nobody else had anything large enough to transport 25 people at once readily available. And we loaded them up onto our jail transport bus, and we took them out to Rock Road, to our jail. And at Rock Road, we provided them all with medical assistance. So Fire Rescue responded to provide that medical assistance to evaluate each of them. Now here's the interesting part. Well, let me just back up and say this. While they were at the jail, we fed them as well. They were all provided a meal. They were all provided water and blankets and taken care of very humanely. But from there, once fire rescue evaluated all these people, 23 of them had to be transported to Tradition Hospital for further evaluation, and 2 were actually transported to Lawnwood that needed a little bit more intensive medical. Border Patrol and HSI took the 2 to Lawnwood and stayed with them. We took the 23 to Tradition and stayed with them until all 23 were evaluated and medically cleared by Tradition Hospital. And once that was done, we brought them back actually from there, I think we took them straight down to Riviera Beach to Custom Border Patrol to their receiving station in Riviera Beach. And they were turned over to them at that point. But I just think it's important to highlight that, listen, we're gonna protect our borders, and we're gonna, that's important here in the state of Florida to our governor and to the citizens of Florida. But I think it's important to highlight that while we're doing that, we can also do it humanely. We can treat people with dignity. And I think that's last night is a testament to that. These people, they were not deprived of medical attention, food, water, any of the necessities for the needs that they had as humans when they arrived here on shore. So that was really one of the biggest highlights, and just the relationships, the resources, and the partnerships that we have that made this all possible. Because this all happened within, I'm talking, it was from the standpoint of rallying everybody and getting these individuals into our custody was, within an hour period, it was done. So that's really important. All right, so with that.
Are you sure it's just 25 people?
Well, it's a good question, and we don't know that, and Border Patrol doesn't know that. That's all we were able to round up. We obviously had, and here's what I will say, is we had air assets, marine assets, and we had a lot of deputies, and Fort Pierce PD assisted as well, boots on the ground, and people that were searching the surrounding area if there were anyone who slipped through. I can't say for sure that no one slipped through. Again, we're putting this message out there to people, to our community, to know that if you see someone or somebody that doesn't belong, or you think that they might have been a part of this, please call 911, and we can at least investigate, because we don't really know.
Are you able to say, since we're not identifying who these people are by name, are you able to say kind of what kind of medical conditions they were sort of up against that required them to go to Lawnwood? I mean, was it just dehydration? Was it more severe injury?
So, when I speak as a group, generally, I wouldn't violate any kind of, HIPAA rules, but as you can imagine, dehydration, lack of food, seasickness, things like that, vomiting, stuff that would go along with being on a long journey without adequate supplies and so forth. But nothing that is life-threatening. Obviously, 23 were immediately, after, an evaluation at a local hospital were cleared, and their vitals and everything were good. And all that was done on scene, the vitals checked and everything to make sure nobody was in grave danger. The 2 that were at Lawnwood with HSI, they weren't critical, but they just needed a little more care, and that's why they went there. But I don't know their status this morning because they've been turned over to HSI, Border Patrol.
Seems like this is one of the larger landings in St. Lucie County in some time. I can't even think the last time there was one.
It is, and typically, I think the last one we had was down south close to Jensen. It actually might have been kind of on the border there between us and Martin County. And I think there were, 9, 10, 11 on board that vessel that washed up on the beach. But this one actually came all the way into an inlet on what appears to be a pretty nice vessel, on the surface. I think the information I've gotten today is it's not as nice as it looks, but it made it in the inlet, so this was rather large.
Do you know when they left?
I'm sorry?
Do you know when they left?
I don't. And again, we did have interpreters on scene, but those interpreters were more just kind of trying to gain information about where they were from, if there were any more people with them, or if anybody was missing. That's one of the things that we did go through with them, was especially with the females and the juveniles, are you missing anyone? Is there anyone, one of your loved ones or anything like that that's not with you that, we need to be looking for? And there were no indications of that.
What about the captain of the boat?
We don't know who was captain in that boat. Could have been one of the people that we took into custody, but that'll really be for, CBP and HSI for them to do their investigations down at their receiving facility.
And the reason why you guys didn't arrest anybody is because entering the country illegally, which I suppose this is what these individuals are suspected of doing, that's not a state crime. It's
right. And that's we always, in all of these cases, immediately notify HSI, Border Patrol, and we immediately turn these cases over to them, generally on the spot. Last night, because of so many, and because the time of night it was, them rallying resources, we got a little more involved. If it's one or two people sometimes or whatever, they generally, show up and take them, and then they handle everything. But we had to participate a lot more last night just due to the sheer amount of people and, rounding people up and what was involved with the hospitals and all.
The juvenile, are you able to say approximately the age? Are they talking a small child or a teenager?
Yeah, I have that information here. Let me see if I can find it. I looked at it, and between 10 and 18 years old, all of them.
When you say all of them, you're referring?
3. There were 3 juveniles.
There were 3 juveniles,
Yep.
okay. So everyone has since been released from medical care?
I can't speak for the ones that Border Patrol took to Lawnwood because they stayed with those. They had their officers there with them at the hospital. So for us, once they go into their custody there, then I haven't followed up with them to see if they've been released from Lawnwood.
Gotcha. Was the vessel intercepted before making landing, or did it actually land?
No, it landed.
There was property damage associated with that too?
It looked to me, and I haven't gone out to the scene. Fort Pierce was responding to that area as well, and I think they might have pulled a case number with regard to the docks and so forth. But I know the docks had to be damaged because the boat was up against the docks.
So would that be considered a crime? Like, would anyone be punished for damaging the docks, like a property damage?
That's probably the least of their concerns is the property damage. Now the vessel will be seized. It's at the Coast Guard station now, and Customs will seize that boat. But
So just so I'm clear, you indicated earlier that the boat kind of grounded itself, came ashore, but some of the people were wet. But then the Fort Pierce police were saying it crashed into the docks. So did it actually make contact with the shore?
so here's the way to describe it. That's a boat ramp.
Right.
Boat ramps start very shallow and get deeper.
Yeah.
But they handle, mainly 20-something foot boats or smaller. Generally, the boat ramps here in St. Lucie County, you could probably put a 30-foot boat in. But a sport fisher boat like that, the minute it probably gets to the bottom end of that boat ramp at the end of the docks, it's going to ground itself right there. So the boat grounded itself against the docks. The water was too shallow there, and probably the tide had a lot to play in that as well because the tide fluctuates pretty heavily there. So probably what happened is they tried to get up to the dock to get out. The boat grounded itself and ran into the dock, and at that point everybody just jumped off. And whether they were in the water or whether they were, I don't know if they made it to the dock or how they got up.
I know you talked about a previous landing. Do you have any kind of general estimate, ballpark figure to the number of people maybe who attempted to come into the county illegally?
Over a period of years, yeah, and that question. So, the question was asked when I think we did a little brief, press conference on the last one that we had, and time escapes me sometimes, but whether it was 4 or 5 months ago. And I know at that point we had said that it had been probably a couple years since we had seen an actual, landing here in St. Lucie County. We hear of them a little bit further south of us, and it really all depends kind of on your jet stream, the type of vessel they're in. Some of them don't have vessels that are powered very well. This vessel was powered well enough. They knew they could come in the inlet. You know, that's the way you want to come in if you can. The beach is a last resort, in my opinion. But I've never seen one come in the inlet like this.
Was there anything else on the boat of note, like drugs, weapons, contraband, that sort of thing?
No, and Fort Pierce actually came out, from what I can read in a report, to process that boat at the Coast Guard station. They were assisting us as well, and there was nothing that I seen that was found on the boat. So I think they were trying to just really look for ownership, and I don't know where we are at Major. We don't know who the owner of that boat was at this time. We're doing some, but again, that'll really all be turned over. It'll be up to HSI and Border Patrol.
I know that you said one or maybe more people said that they were of Haitian descent and from Haiti. I mean, are you able to confirm that everybody on the boat is from Haiti?
I'm going to only assume at this point. I would hate to say that that's. I mean, there could be Dominican on that boat as well. I mean, we don't know. There could be, other nationalities. We've seen very diverse groups come up on in the past. I think the one that came up in Martin County was a little bit diverse with the group that was on it. So I can't say if they were all Haitian descent.
And whether everybody's at the processing center in Riviera Beach now or will be at a later time, basically, as far as what's next for them, that just falls in the hands of HSI and CBP.
That does.
Customs and Border Protection, right? Or
Yeah, Customs, Border Protection, Homeland Security, they're all one. And forgive me that I use a bunch of different terms for them. Sometimes I'm not sure which is the right one to use, but they have different sections that handle different things, and so they send their resources. You could have all of them on scene, and they all have little pieces of the pie as far as searching, taking into custody, the group that goes to the receiving center, and so forth. They all have some different responsibilities.
Who was that actual first agency to respond to that call?
I know that our deputy was the first to take someone into custody.
You know, if Fort Pierce got there first, or who was actually first to see the boat and maybe get an observation of whether someone was shipping off back or everyone fleeing?
I just know the caller called in that there was the boat that was washing up and there was people jumping off the boat and scurrying. It actually, Fort Pierce was responding, but I just know that our deputy went over there first. I don't know exactly what happened with the Fort Pierce call.
Anything else about anything we've talked about that you want to share?
I think we're good. You guys good? I just wanted to make sure we highlighted those things.
We'll have a question.
well, not about well, it's not about the suspected migrant folks that didn't enter the country legally, right? It's about the human remains.
Oh, let's finish this up and then I'll talk to you
Okay.
on the side. Will missed yesterday, so.
I had to pick my kid.
That's okay. Kids are important.
And I had deadlines before 3:30. So.
Is this the time of year when they come over here, the seas flatter, or, I mean, it seemed like,
This isn't a flat seas time of year. This is not the time that I would want to traverse across. The summers generally are flatter time, and the wind picks up, the jet stream shifts a little bit. It's not the best crossing time. Now, their vessel was very adequate to cross, though.
From the Bahamas into here, because they didn't
If
have-
that's where they came from, but I don't know if they made stops along the way or where.
So no way to know if that was a stolen boat. Was it even navigable? Were there engines? Or was it
Yeah.
sort of just a drifting?
No, it was not drifting. It came in our inlet. You couldn't drift our inlet. I can promise you that. You'd be in the jetty.
I'm
So-
sorry, I must have missed it earlier. You can confirm that their last stop was the Bahamas?
No, that's why I said I don't know where they
Oh,
stopped.
you don't know
Yeah.
where they're-
A lot of times,
That's where they
Typically-
always-
okay.
Typically, you make that if you're depending on where you're coming from. There's several stops along your way,
Yeah.
and places that you have to fuel. You can't carry enough fuel to come. I don't think that boat has the capability.
I know that you said no contraband was found. I mean, did you find any food or water on the boat?
Not that we know of. We didn't see any.
Extra gas cans?
Mm-mm. No.
Good. I'm good, that was good. Very good. Anything we missed, Mike?
As long as you're good.
She's like, good, I didn't ask that.
All right.